Yeah. Good evening, everyone. So yesterday we learnt about some basics related to distributed computing topic because we will start working with some APIs now for designing different examples. And to work with the APIs, we will learn how to deal with API interactions inside React. For that, first you should know what is API. Yesterday we discussed some basics related to what is distributed computing and various distributed computing technologies. And we discussed about what is difference between web service and we learnt about web service and API. We learnt about what is web service and what is API, right? That's now after understanding this, we will start using some predefined APIs and design some examples with them. Later, we can create our own APIs. For that, we need to learn database, backend technologies to create our own APIs and use them. Right? So, first we will try to use some APIs. So today we will first understand one's API which is already available because we are using this for our events examples, timer events and all this we can try by using that. So we will use one API called Fake API. We will use a Fakestore API. Later I will show you several other sample APIs also. You can try them. We can use those data. Actually, Fakestore API, it provides RESTful services. It provides RESTful services. RESTful services means for ERP. So that is Enterprise Resource Planning. Resource planning. So RESTful services for ERP, it will provide. And these Fakestore API have some routes. API routes. We have some routes. I will give a route. And what is the description of that particular route we will see. Means just an overview. So these people have a route, means what routes they provide, what they have. Actually, they have products. This is usually returns all products. It is going to return all products. Actually, it returns array of products. It is going to return an array of products. And every product is an object. Just representations I am giving. Every product is an object. Every product is an object with some keys and values. They have products of some ID. It returns specific ID products. ID product. That means it returns only one object. Means what data they have, I am showing it. So they have products slash categories. So it returns array of all categories. Actually, they are string type. They are string type array. And they have products slash category name. This is nothing but it returns array of specific category products. Actually, it is array of objects. It is usually array of objects. So we have products and the ID, categories. These are simple API requests they are having. Actually, what these people do is they provide some sample data. Such APIs we will learn how to create by ourselves. In next levels, server side we will learn. So these APIs we are using to utilize these data, and we can create some presentations. To practice our events, we are using this. Now in this products categories, you can see here actually how to access syntactically https://fakestoreapi.com/products. Like this we access. Those routes are accessed like this. That means before every route, you need the URL fakestoreapi.com. You need that URL. So for every data, let's see here, I will show you. Suppose I am using simple request. This is https://fakestoreapi.com/products/categories. You can see it is going to return one array. It is an array of all the categories, what categories they have. Similarly, they have products. Products is going to return all the products. They have some products, and every product is having some ID, title, price, description. These keys also important. So every product is having this data. That means this is object, and every object have an ID. It is having ID. It is having title, price, image, and it is having description, and it is having rating. This is all the data they have actually. Rating. And usually this ID is number type, string type, array, object type, different types will be there. So this Rating is actually an object. Again, it have rate and it have count like data. I'm just giving their syntax. Because when you are dealing with data, you must know exactly what kind of data you are dealing with. Why you are abnormal? Is it okay now? Why you are so abnormally sitting? Come here, huh? In the center. Huh? Okay. Or you have any sight viewing disability? Huh? Huh? Are you okay? Then I think your viewing angle may be different, right? No? Normal only, yeah? And then, right. So here we will see how we can present the data, how we can work and present the data. So we know how the data comes. Let's create a presentation for this. So earlier what we done, we maintained a JSON file. In that we have some data and we are accessing it and using it. But this time directly we can access from the URL. Let's create one presentation. I am first showing you with combination of timer events. What we will do is we will create one presentation. Actually, they have in Fakestore, they have 20 products. 20 products are there. And we want to show these products in such a way that user at a time he can watch one product, and if he wants he can go to next product, previous products, or if user wants he can start a slideshow. So every few seconds those products will be changing, and we can control the products by using sliders or by using next, previous like buttons. We can control them and we can try. Let's create such interface, right? So I am creating here a component. Let's put a component as Fakestore carousel, something like this. Fakestore carousel I am using. Let's create a new Fakestore carousel dot JSX. Yeah, it is Fakestore carousel JSX I am creating, and export function Fakestore carousel. This is a function, and just we will create one presentation. And what is the presentation is we will keep a container, and in this we will keep deflex and justify content center. Fine. In this we will keep another division. Actually it is a card. Padding 2 and that's enough. So, and margin top some 4. Okay. And let me keep this in the startup. So this is Fakestore carousel. And it is currently empty, nothing is there. But we have a card style. Okay. In this, we need some. This we need a div. I will keep as a card header. Okay. This is a card header is available. This card W50, some width 50, we will keep it like this. And this card is having another div, and class is card body. In this card body, we will keep an image. Image So width I will give as 100% and height I will give as some 300. So this is the area, some 350 something. That's the image area we are having. And below this we have a div, class name card footer, and we will keep text as center. Let's create the design first. Class bi pause, and we first will put a play, btn and btn some primary, and margin x2. This is one play button is there at the bottom, and I will add another button, and this is like some btn danger, and we will use bi pause, and a play and pause buttons are here. You are having play and pause button. Now in the body section, I am keeping a division with a row, and we will have this is call 1 and this is call class as call 10, and another this is call 1. That means 3 columns. In the middle column we are having image, and the left column will have a button. So class bi chevron left, and btn and btn dark. I'm just using this one. Right side we have another button. This is chevron right. Chevron right. That means we have the buttons like this. And in this column, use flex column, justify content center, align items center. Then it will be in the center. We'll keep in the center. Same we will use for this another column also. Then we can keep these in the center. Generally you see carousels already, you might have used them in Bootstrap and all. So we are trying to create by our own. That means with some timing and all we are going to display. So now in this, we can add a lot of functionalities later also, but first point is I want to display the product photo here, and I want the product title above. If you want later when user is watching, the product price you can keep here, or its ratings, reviews you can keep there, or you can put the description there. We can add a lot of design. First we will achieve the basic functionality. What is my intention here? I need a manual control, auto control. Manual control means when I click next, second photo should come, previous photo should come, and when I click play, automatically the photo should start changing every few seconds. That means every few seconds another photo should load. When I click pause, auto should stop, and we can control manually. This all we need to implement, and the data will come from an API. Okay, so at a time we want to display only one product. There is only place for one product. Actually, to access a product, this Fakestore API have products of one. This is going to get only one product. That means the first product information it is going to collect and display here. So we need to access the data from this URL and we need to present. So how to do this? Let's create here we are creating constant product, set product, it is use state, and what is the data you are expecting. I am expecting one object with ID, number type, title, string type, price, number type, category, number string type, description, that is string type, and image, that is string type, rating. Rating is object, rate, number, count, also number. This is the data they have actually. That means we are expecting the data in this format. This is the data we are expecting. Okay. Now I will create a function called load product. This load product should load the product which belong to specific ID. Based on ID, we can access one product at a time. So it is expecting ID as parameter. So whenever we access load product, we will tell which ID product, then it will load that ID product. So we need to access the ID product and load into this data. So we need what? Axios. Axios dot get from API. Its URL https://fakestore.api.com/what products/ID comes from dynamically, it will come from your parameter. That means which ID we will decide whenever we call the function. Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Dot, then we have to collect the response. That response data we need to store in set product. Set product contains response dot what? Data. So that product will come and display. Now, when to load the product? First time this load product should work when I am loading the component, mounting the component. So use effect, on use effect, what to do? On use effect, load product, but load product is expecting a ID. By default, I will use 1 as ID. That means the first product it will load. Okay. Where to display that? In the card header, text center, here I want to display product title. That means product dot title. Okay. Here in the image, I want to display the product photo. That means SRC is coming from product dot image. That's it. Only these two details I am showing about the product. Its title and its photo. That means now you can see at the mount, it is going to get that and show. That means it is accessing the product and displaying. Now we need to implement next button, previous button logic. On next button click, the next product should load. Previous button should load. That's simple. So what we will do now here, so we are using a function. So function handle next click. That is one function. Another function handle previous click. Okay. On handle next click, what we need to do is we need to collect the ID of current product, increase 1. We have to increase 1 and we have to use that to load the product. That means we need some increment of value and it should be not for presentation, it is for internal use. Then how to create some value for internal use? So we will create let. What is it? So we will create count, and this count is using use reference. Use ref we learned. Use ref allocates the memory, and what is use ref by default? It is how much? 1. because it should start with one product. It should start with one product. So it is using 1 as a value. Now what should happen when you click next? When you click next, what we have to do? We have to use count. Count is a reference. Dot current is equal to count dot current plus 1. It should increase by 1. The current is used to get the current thread, and in the current thread we stored a value. We can store a value or we can store a function. Already we discussed about this useref in previous concept. That means you allocate a memory to store some data. It is not for presentation. It is just for internal use, right? Okay. Now what should happen? Load product. And which product it should load? It should load count dot what? Current. Count dot current is the value which will load. So that is next click. What about previous same? Count dot what? Current is equal to count dot current minus 1. And load product count dot what? Current. It will get the value and it will use the value. So when this next should work and previous should work, this is actually left button means previous button. So on click, handle previous click. This button is next button. So on click. On click is what? Handle next click. That is the implementation. Now once it is ready, this is the data. I click on next, then the next product should come. That means it is accessing the products and displaying those products. Later we will implement more concept. As of now, just related to events we are using. Later we will implement so many things like I said next. This data has to come from API. API is sending data from their server. It will take time. Then how you will show the time? Then we will put a spinner saying that loading, please wait. Right? Because they should know, because data will not load immediately. If it is from local device, it is fast. But from server, obviously it will take time. We can put transitions. We can put spinners, loading status and display them. Initially, this is previous click, this is the previous, and this is the next. And remember, for every concept, logic is required. Many people intelligently come with doubt. Sir, after 20, what will happen? They have 20 only. What will happen? You are a programmer, no? Your brain should work. What will happen after 20? It will go to 21. Then what you should do? You have to write a condition. If count is equal to 20, then set count as 1. Or put an alert saying that this is last. Without writing any logic, nothing will work. That means for every doubt, the answer is logic. So what will happen after this? What will happen? Have you written any logic? No. Then what will happen? You know. You have to write a logic. A logic is required to handle every situation. Automatically nothing will happen. So we will implement such complete scenarios one by one. We will see that. Initially, this is back. From here again I click back. It shows empty. It should not show empty. Then what you will do? On previous click, we will write a condition. What is that condition? If count is equal to minus 1, because count is equal to 0, because it starts with 1. If it is 0, then put a alert saying that this is last record and set count again to how much? 1. You can do now. These are all basics. So technically, this is first point. We are implementing the previous and next. Okay, this is working fine. What is the next concept? When I click play, this should start automatically changing. That means every few seconds, a new product should load. That means this function, this function have to, this function have to load, this function have to load every second. And every few seconds, 5 seconds, every 5 seconds, this function should load another ID. That means what should happen? Count should automatically increment every 5 seconds. And it should load the new one. Then how do you write the logic for that? So what we will do now here, this time, this function I cannot use because this is the function designed for manual. Manually you will pass an ID and you will use that ID. This time what we will do is we will create another function. This is load product auto. And here we will not pass ID. ID will be automatically incremented after 5 seconds or 2 seconds or 3 seconds, depends. That means in this what should happen? Count should increment automatically. Count should increment automatically means what we will do? We will use count dot what? Current is equal to count dot what? Current plus 1. That means whenever I call this load product auto, its count must be automatically increased by 1. That means we will not pass ID. Automatically ID will be incremented after few seconds. Okay. Now we need to do what? We need to get that and load. That means here we will use Axios dot what? Get, this time HTTPS, what is it? Fakestoreapi.com products slash ID is coming from count. It is coming from count dot what? Current. And dot then. So we will use a response and we need that set product, that is response dot what? Data. This is the data we are doing. Now when this load product auto should work, when I click play button, it should start. And automatically every few seconds it should execute. That means I want this function to repeat every 5 seconds or 10 seconds like that. And when it should do, when you click on play button, when I click on play button and when I click pause button, it should be removed from memory. Then we will create another reference. This reference is thread. So this thread is for storing the function. For storing the function, I am creating a thread. So use reference, and what is it? By default thread is what? Null. That means we are not having any functionality as of now. Okay. When a user clicks the play button, that means we will write a function. What is it? Handle play click. On handle play click, what should happen? On handle play click, I need to load the function into memory and release into process every few seconds. So we will access thread dot current is equal to, we will use set interval, because set interval is the timer function which can load event every few seconds, every function every few seconds. Which function? Function name. Function name is what? Load product auto. How many milliseconds? 5000 milliseconds. That means every 5 seconds it is going to release this into memory. And whenever it is released into memory, what will happen? Whenever it is released into memory, count will be increased by 1. And it will get the latest one and it will display the latest. Okay, this is on play click. And we will do one more work. What is that work is? We will declare another constant. This is status. Set status and use state. And I will put a string. And what is that status is? When user clicks next button, previous button, the status I want to show here. That means below the title, I will put a div. And here I want to show this. I will give as font weight bold. And here I want to put the status. Okay. Font weight bold. Okay. I want to display the status here. And actually that status is when user clicks the next button, next click or previous click. So this status will be set as default. I will set as. So this is manual. I will put the status as manual. That means currently it is manual. That means we are having manual, right? So, and when user clicks on play button, set status, we will set as auto, and we will put a message slideshow running. That is the message we are giving. Slideshow is running when user clicks play, slideshow running. And when this should happen, when user clicks the play button, that means on play click, that means on click. On click, what we have to do, handle play click. Okay, on pause click, what should happen? On pause click, that should be removed from memory. That function should be removed from memory. So we have a function. What is it? Handle pause click. On handle pause click, what we will do? We will put here clear timeout, clear interval, clear interval. Which one? Thread dot current. That should be cleared. And we will set status. What is the status? So slideshow paused. That is the status we want. Slideshow running, slideshow paused, and the pause button click, we need to write the logic. So here on click, and we can use handle pause click. We can give pause click. And you see now, let's start the slideshow here. That means this is the manual. Currently I click next button, and next button it is working fine, and it is actually manual. This is the manual. Okay, we will click on play button. When I click on play button, slideshow running. And every few seconds without clicking, that image should change. Every few seconds that image is changing. And you can write keyframes, CSS animations, so that it will slide from right, slide from top, it will fade, right? And here I click on pause, then slideshow pause. And slideshow is paused, now it is not moving. Okay, we will do one thing. After slideshow is paused, I will go to previous. That means it will come here. From here again I will play. That means it should continue from here, right? It should continue from where I pause. That means I click on play. That means it will start from there, means the next product will be that jewelry product should come. That is coming means it is correctly synchronized between play, pause, and previous and next. So that means when I say pause, that means it is pause. And when I click previous, it will get to the previous. And when I click play, it will start from here now. And why it is correctly synchronized? Because the same count I am using for both auto and I am using for previous and next. So it is handling that. So we can control in this way. And here I am just displaying only two options. I am displaying just only like title and this. You can display a lot of details like its price, right? And like its description, its ratings and reviews, whatever you want. Usually what happens in the container, where is this container? Yeah, in this column, I created a div. And here I will keep one more option is position is relative. And it will have a position as absolute. And here I'm just using, yeah. So here I am keeping a badge like a badge, and I am using BG some danger and rounded circle and end 0 and top also 0. And in this we are displaying some price. That means product dot what price. And usually the price data will come there. We are displaying the price and showing the price. I will keep this is padding 3 or 4, then it will get that and display in this way, right? And what else you can do? Suppose this price to local string, and we will use an en-us. So we have a style as what currency, and currency is what USD, and that will display the currency in this way. And when I click on next, then it will get me the next product and show. It will get me the next product price data and display. These are different products related data, right? It is accessing. And actually we are using just the concept of displaying only few details. And when I say play, then what it will do? It starts playing from there. Automatically the price and everything will be changing. Every few seconds it will be changing. So we can add CSS, animations, effects and all. I want one more here. What I want is, I want a slider. Just like a media player. Media player will have a seek bar. Seek bar means you can slide and we can view directly from where we want. That means I want a slider below. So what you can do, below this image, I'm adding a div. Below the image, let me add a div. So just class margin top, margin Y is 2. And here we are using an input type is range. And you know, we can apply the class as form range. And usually the range picker will come like this. And what we want here, we want that slider also to work. That means user can slide the slider and he can watch which product he wants. That means what is the event for slider? We already designed EMI calculator like, no? So that means what is the slider here? So slider related event is what? Slider related event is a function handle slider. Slider change. On slider change, what we have to do? Get the value of slider and assign to this. That means we have to get the value of slider and assign. Actually, what is the value of slider? This slider is having min. Min is 1. Max is how much? 20. You can do one more thing. You can directly put a dynamic expression. We can get all the products dot length we can use. That will get how many are there, it will get. That means you don't need to put a constant value. You can collect all the products and you can put the length. But currently we are not collecting all the products, right? So I will just give max as 20. Value is default 1. That is the value is 1. Now this value we need to apply while changing. We need to apply the value. So what we have to do for this, we need to write on change. On change is what? Handle slider change. On slider change, we need to collect the value and apply. We have a how to collect the value E through event argument. We have to call the function load product. Load product is expecting ID and ID is coming from E dot target dot value. That's it. That means it is coming from that E dot target dot value. So what happens now is when I move the slider here to the next, it is going to move, but it is not working. I think because the value is constant, right? So it is not constant. Value is coming from count. Na? That means here, what is the slider value? This value is not standard. This value is coming from where? Count. Count dot what? Current. The value is coming from the count dot current. Then usually what happens when I click on play, when I click on play, you can see that the slider has to change every few seconds. That means now slider is also changing. Slider is also changing. When you are moving to the next, then the next one will come. Okay. What we will do now, we will pause. That means we are going to pause. And after pausing, we will move the slider back. Then it should work. I think some issue is there. What is the issue? Slider on change, minimum, maximum, and where is the value here? It is loading the product and the slider value we will update to the count. So here we will use, what is it? Count dot what? Current. Current is equal to E dot target dot value and this we will apply here. What is it? Count dot what? Current. That means it allows to change the slider manually actually. It allows to change the slider. Now it is working fine. Yeah. Now it is working fine. But one by one. Okay, it is working fine. Yeah. So this is, that means we are having the previous and this is what? Next. And what we can do, we can move the slider back, then it will go to the black. When you move the slider next, it will go to the next. So we can move the slider and we will get the next, right? My mouse clicking has been changed. That's so this is how we can navigate between the slides. And this is accessing the data from an API and displaying the data. Here we are controlling through previous and next buttons. We are controlling through play and pause buttons, and we are controlling through a slider. So here our intention is to understand timer events. That means how timer events can be used, how we can use a timer event and display that. This is one example of how to use an interval. We created a simple slideshow and we are displaying the content. So I will copy this example. Remember, this is not a complete solution of that type of presentation. You have to write a lot of logics again. Like if it reaches 20, then again set the count to 0 manually and all. Everything you have to add into this. So initially, this is the example. And what is that example? This is Fakestore carousel dot JSX. This is the example. Okay, let's see another concept of how to use the intervals. That means how do we use the interval in another small scenario we will see. Let's create another example here. We will create another example. So in the components I am adding, suppose interval demo. Okay. I am adding a new file, interval demo. That means I will show another process that we see regularly in websites like, so export function, interval demo. Okay. In return. Now we want to show some progress. That means generally these timers are used in progress and everywhere we use that. So what we need to do here, container fluid, and here we need to design a div and class deflex justify content center and align items center, and we'll keep a style with height as 100 VH. Okay, and inside this we are creating again a division. Now in this division we are having another division. This is having a uh, progress bar. We have a progress bar in our general HTML. That means first I will keep a button here. We'll keep a button as load image. Okay. Then class btn primary. So this is one option we are having, and I will keep this in the startup. This is interval demo. Okay. And that is interval demo. This is load image we are having. When I click on load image, to get the image and load from some server, it will take time. And I need to show the progress of time. 10% completed, 20% completed, 30% completed. We want to show the status. So what we will do, we will create another division here. This is actually progress. So class W some 50. Okay. That is the progress W100, or we will give more. Instead of this, we will just put a style. Style I am giving width as suppose 400 pixel. That means it will have some width like this. This is class. We are having the class text center. Okay. So, and this progress is having some height. Height as suppose 30 pixel. Just little height we are giving for that progress. Fine. Now, what we need to do is, for this progress, we will control the values. So we give min is 1, max is 100. So we will control the value dynamically. Okay, after this we have another div. This div is having an image. So for example, I am accessing the image source from, we have a image, some I have like iPhone black .jpg. I have that image. So width, I will just keep it as 300 and height also some 400. Like this, I am adding that image. Now, what is the concept here is, I need to hide the progress. I need to hide the image. I need only button first. That means the first approach is we need to hide here. So we are having, so constant. First we have a toggle button and set button toggle button. Okay, is equal to use state. This is using D block. That is D block. Huh? So we have another constant. This is toggle progress. Set toggle progress and use state, and it is using D none. That is display none. We have constant toggle image, set toggle image, and we are having use state. This is also D none. That is display none. We will apply, this will have a class name, that is toggle button. This will have a class name, that is what? Toggle progress. This will have a class name, that is toggle image. That means we are just hiding all of them. And toggle image, none. Okay. That is what we are keeping. Now when I click on load image, then the progress should come. Button should hide. Progress should come and it will show the progress. 10% completed, 20% completed, like this, right? When it reaches 100, progress should hide and photo should come. That means we need to toggle all these dynamically now, right? Let's write the logic here. So we need another one. So another one is we are creating a constant and a count, and what we will do, this is not constant because we cannot assign into constant. First we will write a function. What is it? Handle load click. Okay. On load click, what should happen? On load click, first thing, the button should hide. That means set toggle button. What we have to do? D none. Okay. Which container should display? Set toggle progress. This should display. That means D block. That means it will hide the button and it will show the progress. Now, not only that, the progress should start working. That means now what we will do here is we will create a simple function called, the function is progress. Progress bar is the function. What this progress bar function is so have to do, I will give the name as start progress. Yeah, start progress, and what it should do is we will declare a variable as what? Count, because this variable I want to use in UI also. In the presentation also we need to use that variable. Count is how much? 1. And what should happen? Count plus plus. It should increment by 1. It should increment by 1. After incrementing, where to display? So it should display, we have a constant progress value. Set progress value and is equal to use state. Progress value starts with 1. And what we have to do is set progress value. We will use that count. Count will be increased by 1 and it will be assigned to progress value, and this progress value should be displayed inside the progress bar. Progress bar value. That means here value comes from progress value. The value of progress bar will come from progress value. Okay. Now what should happen on load click? So every few seconds this progress should work. That means every few seconds the progress should work. So we will create a constant, not constant, we will create a thread. And what is the thread? Use ref, and in the reference it is what? Null. And what it has to do? So we will assign this thread dot current is equal to, what is it? Set interval. Set interval, which function to execute? Start progress every 500 milliseconds. 500 milliseconds is fast. I want little more fast. 200 milliseconds. I will give that. Okay. I have to do this. And when this load click have to work? Load click have to work when user clicks on this button. That means on click, we have to access handle load click. It's not completed. Only one level we have done. That means what we are doing now, I click on load image, then it shows the progress. That means it is showing the progress of the task performed. I want to show that number. So we want to show that number. So then what we will do? So below this progress, we will just keep a division. And in this division, we will put count percent completed. This is the message we are giving. How much percent completed. So when I click on load image, it should show that and display that here. And it is not changing. Why? So this count is incrementing here, but it is not displaying here because default it is how much? 1. We'll do one thing. What we'll do? Instead of showing the count, we will get the progress value, huh? Because progress value is changing now, right? And I click on load image, the progress value will be displayed there. 8% completed. The speed depends on how much interval you give in, how much interval. But actually in reality, what we do, in reality, when a task is being performed, through the logic, we access the time taken to finish the task. That means we will calculate the process task. And how to calculate the process task, I will show you with a threading concept. That means there will be JavaScript process thread. By using process thread, we can calculate how much time is really taken inside the process. That time we will assign. That means we will not put like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. We will calculate because the time may be changing. So sometimes it is busy. Lot of other apps are running. Then it will take more time. Sometimes other apps are not running. Then it will be fast. Time is not standard. It will be changing. That we can do by using thread logics. That means in JavaScript, we can access the thread process time. And through that process time, we can apply the time to this interval. So that according to that, it will do the performance. Now here it is loading. Okay, after 100, little faster means, you know. What I will do, little faster means just change this to 100 milliseconds. 100 milliseconds, now you see it is little fast. Now when it reaches 100, what should happen? So it should hide the progress and load the image. So it is continuing. We haven't written any logic for that. We know already now how to write the logics. So what you will do is, in this progress, we will write a condition. What is that? If count is equal to how much? 100. If count is 100, we can do one thing. We can stop the timer. We can stop this function. We can set the count again to 1 or we can set it to 0. We can do a lot of things. Here, temporarily what I will do, hide the progress and load the image. That means set progress, toggle progress. Toggle progress will be what? D none. And set toggle image. Toggle image. Toggle image. Toggle image we will put as what? D block. Image will be displayed there. When it reaches 100, we are hiding the progress and displaying this one. We can even give pause and play again. So you see when I click, then it is showing. And when it reaches 100, we can put an alert and we can display, or when it reaches 100, it will load the image. It is going to load the image when it reaches 100. We can even pause and resume the downloads. How you will pause and resume? So what I would need to do here is, so for example, below this progress bar, I will add another division. And in this, we have a button, class BTN and BTN some, so warning and BI and BI pause. That means we are using a pause button. That means here you will have a pause button. And one more option is we are having margin top 2. And one more button is again we have a resume button. Resume button is just like a play. And this is some success, something like this. And we have these two buttons here now. Right now, what should happen on pause click? It should pause. MS1. Okay, some gap we are giving. Now, when I click on pause, it should pause. And when I click on play, it should play. And how do you write the pause? So we need to write a function. What is the function? Handle pause click. Pause click. What should happen? So on pause click, we are displaying the message. We have to hide it. That means clear. What is it? Interval. What is that? Thread dot what? Current. It should clear. It should pause that at that location. And we will write handle pause click. So on click it is handle pause click. We will see here pause click, and we click here and I click on pause, it should pause there. And again resume, again what you have to do, we need to write, again we need to assign that to the thread. That means when you click here a function handle, what is it? Play click. On play click, we need to set the thread again. Thread what? We have to use thread. Uh, thread dot current is equal to, again we need to set interval. Set interval, what we need to do, start progress, and we need to set it to 100. That's what we are giving. And when play click, again the same will happen. So on click, what is it? Handle play click. On play click it is doing. That means now here one more problem will come if we don't synchronize correctly. On pause click it is paused at 37. On play click it is again coming from first. Now you know the reason why. Why? Because you are using a count. That count will reset again when the function is called again. Then how we can make this continue? So what you better do is, this count also you create with a reference. That means what you do, count is equal to use reference. Use reference is what? 1. And then this is not required. What we have to do, we need to say count dot current. Current is equal to count dot current plus 1. Increase by 1. What is the point about this is, I can use the count everywhere. I can use the count everywhere. Universally, the count is used in every situation actually. And what is the concept here? Load. Or somewhere it is missing. So where it is missing somewhere, count we are writing inside object. Here count dot what? Current. If count dot current is equal to 100, here also we have to change. Count dot what? Everywhere wherever we used count, we should use count dot current, because we changed it to a thread now. Okay. Now load, it will get that. And when I click on pause, it will pause there, and play, then it will continue from there. That means the same count is used universally everywhere. Pause and you say play, then it will continue from there and it will display. And while displaying image, you can make it zoom, you can make it rotate, we can add a lot of effects, because already we learned how to add keyframes. I showed you how we can add a keyframe. We can design a keyframe and display. Actually, React people don't design like these progress and all manually, because in React, ready-made such controls are available, but not directly available in React through third parties. Then what we do, that component we will bring and put in our projects. Usually React people don't design manually such progress. We learn to understand the concept of timers. But actually in real world projects, we can design like this our own, or what company people do is they use third party progress. Actually, you will find lot of third party progress. For example, we have a MUI. MUI is Material UI, which is for React. Later you will learn about this MUI. In MUI, you can go to the MUI Material UI. In the components, they have a progress bar. Where is that progress? This is progress, and this is ready-made available. Spinners, loading status, they will give you different. They will give you different progress. Different progress will be there. Lot of animations and effects will be there. What is the specialty about them? Suppose you see loading. So that means it is loading. Simulate loading. So it is reset. So you have lot of You see, this is all the loading status. Different are there. They are having different logic here. You can see some different, see 40%, 50%. And usually, if you want like this, what they have done, already they created a component and logic, everything written. Just we have to use the component and put the values, right? You don't need to design like that. But usually, even you have the ready-made components, interiors will not ask this because they need to check your skills. They will show you a ready-made component and they will ask you design this by yourself. That means they will show you these type of designs and they will ask you, you create it. Now, how to create such spinner 90%, 20%, 30% scrolling? You need very great knowledge on CSS. Then only you can do that. Right? If you have good knowledge of complete CSS and you can do that. So usually that's not a very risky thing. You can easily handle that. But what is the point? You see, they given the code. You can see this is the code. They already have ready-made component. You see, they given a component. The component is box, circular progress. In that box, these type of components you will learn later. I will show you how to use such components ready-made so that we can easily handle the components. This is the concept to understand the events. And I showed this example. I will copy this example. This is example for what? Interval demo.jsx. I will copy this interval demo.jsx. So two examples we learned. One is related to the Fakestore, another one is the progress. Now these are related to just timer events, how we can use timer events. Now in React, you can work with different other events. Now we have another very major concept, that is form events. Another major concept is working with the form events. And working with forms is very challenging one in React. And this is a very big concept for React. Why? Because login forms, registration forms, validations in forms, everything is the key role. And React way of dealing form is a very risky process. That is the reason React developers will not use the forms as they use in their JavaScript. In React, to work with forms, we need special libraries. Otherwise, it is very risky. So much complication will be there. Actually, form related events, two events are there, which are very commonly used events for form. What are the form events of JavaScript? So form events are defined for form element are defined for form element. They are generic events that handle submit and reset functionality with generic buttons. So actually we have syntactically, we have a form on submit is equal to some functionality. On reset is equal to some functionality. On submit and on reset. Now, collecting data from a form, accessing the data from the form, and using the data is a lengthy process. That means the React way of handling forms is a lengthy process. That is the reason we completely depend on third parties to work with the forms. So I will show you one regularly used third party, and we will see other third parties with some guidance I will give, you have to explore by yourself. So designing a form, accessing data from the form elements and presenting the data, interacting with the data in a React way is very lengthy. So what React people will do is, so React developers use various third-party libraries to handle form interactions. Third-party libraries to handle form interactions. We have like Formic. So we have like Telerik forms. So we have like hook form, React hook form. These are different types of third-party forms. So by using these third parties, we can design the form, we can handle interaction with the form. Remember, designing a form, accessing data from the form and collecting the data and using the data for submitting to server and handling interactions, that's very complicated in especially React. That is the reason we must depend on these third parties. We have to use these third parties. So now we are going to learn how to use these third parties and create the forms. These are required for designing interactions with forms that we'll see next session, right? So first you try those two examples that we done today. Then in the next session, we will learn working with forms. This is very big concept, forms and validation, right? Because now we will use these forms with interacting with the data in the backend and everywhere, APIs and all. So what is problem in forms and what is the solution, we will see in tomorrow's session. Okay.